Alright, another little video to pique your interest in an aspect of your world that you may not have thought about or heard about, and that might, just might, get you out of your comfy home and into the big world outside. Have fun. I hope you have already watched my little video about the Veterans Art exhibit that we have set up in the Milford, Connecticut library, or that you have actually visited the display itself. The exhibit runs through the month of April, but we had some last-minute additions to the display case. Some Vietnam veteran friends had some items that they wanted to show, so I had to add another video. The filled-up display cases. Okay, we have some additions to the display cases. Here we have a Vietnam era helmet, we have a grenade, we have a Prick 25, PRC 25 radio. Well, this model on display is actually a Prick 77, a newer model, but I'm told that the main difference between the two is that the 77 has more electronics and fewer old-fashioned tubes. In Nam in 67 and 68, I carried the Prick 25, and so did a lot of the Army, even though the 77 model was first introduced apparently in 1968. And besides, we Marines, we usually had to keep using older equipment as a cost-cutting measure, long after the Army upgraded to newer equipment. For example, in 1967, I flew in several of the old-fashioned CH-34 helicopters to go on operations when the Army was already using the much more modern Hueys, the Huey helicopters that became synonymous with the Vietnam War. A flare, smoke grenade. One important way that we would use the smoke grenade, for example, would be to mark where our troops were located when we were calling in airstrikes. That way, the jets would know not to bomb near the yellow smoke. Regular grenade, helmet that we used to use, all little C rations. And this has a change. Oh, now we have a K-bar knife that was used by the Marines. The K-bar fighting knife was first adopted by the Marine Corps in 1942 at the height of World War II as a combat knife. It has since become the iconic fighting knife of the Marines. It has also always been useful for many other tasks besides direct combat, much like modern bushcraft civilian knives that you can find in sports stores today, but there's nothing like a K-bar. And behind there, there's a North Vietnamese Army backpack. Okay, Claymore mine, we saw that before. Well, we didn't discuss the Claymore mine then, but it is definitely worth a discussion. I believe that the Claymore mine was first used in combat by the U.S. in Vietnam starting around 1966. Its namesake, the Claymore, is a large, long, lethal Scottish sword. The Claymore mine was developed to cut down wide swaths of enemy soldiers during a mass attack like the Chinese used it in the Korean War. Such fighting was less common in Vietnam, though, but our military still used it to set up ambushes and to protect defense perimeters against enemy attack, for example. The Claymore mine sends massive amounts of small projectiles spraying in a wide arc, lethal up to about 50 meters. The first mines had a blank face, but perhaps after some incidents where soldiers set up the mines backwards, the words "front toward enemy" were inscribed on the lethal side so as not to make that mistake. That phrase has since become an iconic one among military veterans. And over here, you have an E-tool. One of those things used to carry water in. M79 grenades. Yeah, that little grenade was used in the M79 grenade launcher, a single-shot affair that was used to fire the 40mm rounds. I never used one personally, but our guys used the M79 very effectively whenever we had a little run-in with the Viet Cong or the NVA. I understand in the modern service now they have a special grenade launcher that attaches to the underneath of the modern rifle instead of having a separate grenade launcher.
2-quart bladders.
Bayonet.
I carry 2 of those. and some other stuff.
So these new additions complete our Veterans Art exhibit, which concentrates mostly on the Vietnam War in conjunction with the talks that are being given at the Milford Library. Please feel free to leave comments here or with the library. Thank you. I hope you have enjoyed this little excursion into the complex matrix of the so-called real world. If you have, then please subscribe and hit that little notification bell to make sure you don't miss my future videos. Thank you, and live well until we meet again. Yes, I know, I'm mixing famous phrases.